Mars is inextricably connected to cocoa and to the marine environment through our significant use of fish and seaweed. And in all of these cases, we're facing significant risks. In cocoa, through pests and diseases, poor management of the crop and the soil, and in the marine environment through overfishing, bad fishing practices and destruction of natural habitats. Mars really has no choice but to act, and it's pretty much impossible to achieve a sustainable result acting alone. Businesses, other research institutions, and by working with governments and communities, we can actually facilitate a process of change.
So when I first heard about the internship in terms of, what the possibilities were for the summer, it appeared to be the holy grail of internships. That actually has proven to be relatively true.
The task that I was given by Mars was to look at the business model behind the composting technology.
We took a walk around one of the upcountry plants, and there was a cocoa farm adjacent to the plant with a guy chopping down his cocoa field. We walked up and had a chat with him and just wanted to know why. And his plants were pretty typical of a lot of cocoa farms that we'd seen before, but he was done. He had had enough and was convinced it wasn't going to work and needed money now, and so he was going to a quicker crop that could provide that cash.
There's an expression about the farmer's brains is in their eyes. We have to make them experience, or at least to convince them, we have to make them witness the significance themselves before they can decide to do that too.
We're doing all of these demonstration plots, and that's getting to some people. But every day farmers are coming in to deliver their cocoa beans to the plant, at least in the season, and every day farmers are driving through the gates of a Mars facility. So why not capture them when they come through the gates? And so the plan that Hari and I kind of constructed in our minds that day was, what if the entrance to the Lara facility, or every Mars facility in a cocoa producing region, basically it's sort of a forced education. So you're bringing a farmer through a demonstration forest right there at the beginning of the plant, I mean, they're forced to see what Mars is asking for.
Through the education program, training program, probably only up to 20% of farmers who will really implement what they have been trained. For example, in pruning, in fertilizer application or pesticide application, 20% of farmers who really apply that. It's probably a sign of the unsuccessful result of just providing farmers with education or training programs.
I think that a really useful way of thinking about composting is like a bank account. You can't just keep making withdrawals from the bank account without putting money back in. And I think that you can think about soil in the same way, and that's really what composting is putting nutrients back into the soil when you're constantly taking them out. What Mars has done is done a lot of research around compost and coming up with the right recipe for this kind of soil. As a business model, I think that you can think about it almost like a franchise. The farmers come together and they purchase the pod chopper itself, the recipe, the soil samples, things like that. And then on the other side, the business model, which includes, for example, the financing piece, packaging, training, documents that are going to help them to grow this business. Bringing these farmers together is also a really great opportunity for them to receive training about other best practices for their farms.
Soalnya begini, saya lihat di kebun saya itu ada peningkatan. Nah, masalah penyakit aja kurang juga. Jadi saya sampaikan sama petani, kemudian petani tertarik juga.
Nah, maksudnya kenapa misalnya tidak berpikir saya dulu yang pakai?
Itu kan tidak bisa. Namanya kelompok kan.
It's cultural thing, so.
In my opinion, Mars is staring down the barrel of kind of a dilemma upcountry and in other parts of the world. Cocoa yields are diminishing, supply is becoming tight, soil is degrading, and you're running into a situation where this talk about sustainability, it's much more than a feel-good conversation. This is a conversation of where your cocoa beans going to come from and how much is a company like Mars willing to invest in a region so that they can keep on getting the product they want out of that region.
At the end of the day, things get done because people do things. People take action. That means that one of the most important capacities we have to build is in people, and not just this generation, my generation, but in the generations to come. And unless we take action, then we're just sort of leaving it to fate, perhaps, to develop those people.